The flame sparked, but my heart ignited deeper. It was June 2022, over 3 years ago, and I was 26, a glass blower shaping molten beauty in Venedik's neon-lit Murano, my torch a shield against a past that had cooled my trust. My name's Luca, and Venedik was my kiln, its watery pulse and glowing nights a rebellion against the rural Verona village where I'd hidden my queerness until I came out at 17 in 2013. A ghosting ex had left me firing alone, his betrayal in 2019 still lingering like cracked glass, so I'd sworn off love, pouring my soul into my pieces, blowpipes, heat, Venedik's rhythm. But that night, Murano had other plans, ones that lit my heart into a new glow. The Neon Flame Fest was a blaze of energy, a swirl of light. Orange neons pulsing flame, purple strobes dancing, classical and electronic beats thumping. Festival goers, hyped in LED cloaks and glowing beads. My booth, Glass Vibe, was alive, my torch hissing, my short brown hair tied back, my boots scuffing as I shaped a vase. I was mid-blow, the crowd buzzing, when an art dealer, Matteo, stumbled into my station. His display knocked over, my molten glass splashing, a vase cracking. The crowd gasped, the shard glinting, and I snapped, "Yo, watch the stand!" He turned, Matteo, maybe 28, his wavy black hair glowing, a loose neon purple jacket flashing, his hazel eyes wide, flustered, like a spark in the neon haze. I wanted to reheat, Verona's scars yelling, "Keep your flame tight," but his eyes caught me, warm under the neon, my heart melting like a perfect gather. "My bad," he said, scrambling to steady his display, his voice smooth, a Venedik lilt cutting. Through the murmurs, his fingers brushing mine on the shard, a jolt igniting my skin. I checked the cracked vase, glow dimmed, and Matteo leaned in, his cologne, sea salt, amber, mixing with the festival's smoky air. "I'm Matteo," he said, dusting his jacket, his grin shy but electric. "Dealer, saw your pieces on Insta. Fire." My cheeks burned, Verona's walls trembling, but his vibe felt too much like my ex's charm, too risky to anneal. My ex had been a glassblower too, all heat until he ghosted me in 2019, leaving me to fire alone in Verona's dim sheds. My trust, brittle. I swept the shard, but Matteo lingered, his eyes tracing mine, like he saw the craft beyond my apron. "Let me make it up," he said, offering to sell my next piece, the crowd hyping as I reset my torch. The neon pulsed, Murano's energy urging me to shape, but I deflected. "I'm good," I said, voice sharp, checking my blowpipe. Matteo's laugh, bright, warm, cut through, his hand grazing my wrist, a spark I couldn't cool. "Check my gallery," he said, nodding to his booth, his eyes daring. "Or you two stuck in your kiln?" I wanted to stay in my booth, but Matteo's grin pulled me to his setup, the neon flaring, orange, purple, red, as electronic beats thumped louder. His dealer booth was vibrant, pieces gleaming under lights, his TikTok clips trending with art tours, the crowd buzzing. My pulse raced, Verona's ghosts fading, Venedik's tide urging me to mold. But mid-pitch, a shelf wobbled, Matteo stumbling toward the booth edge. I lunged, grabbing his arm, pulling him back, our eyes locking, his breath hot against my cheek. "Nice save," he gasped, his grin electric, his hair brushing my jaw. My heart surged, but doubt clung. Was he real, or just another Murano spark, ready to ghost like my ex? I pulled back, the neon blurring as I retreated to my torch, Murano's rhythm syncing with my fear. "Thanks for the catch," Matteo called, following me, his jacket open, his eyes softer now, less flash, more real. "Stay," he said, voice low, a plea in his Venedik lilt. The festival buzzed, neon glowing brighter, lagoon hum pulsing nearby, and I knew this wasn't just a cracked vase, this was Venedik, lighting me into a piece I wasn't ready for, but couldn't shatter. The festival canal was a neon furnace, purple lights pulsing flame, orange strobes flashing, classical driving the crowd wild. Matteo dragged me to his dealer booth, his pieces down, his hands light on my shoulders, urging me to try a new design for his sale. My pulse hammered, Verona's scars begging me to quench, but Venedik's tide, salty, electric, kept me blowing, my apron loose, Matteo's grin pulling me deeper. "Not bad, Glass King," he teased, voice low, his breath sparking a shiver. "Knew you had a vibe," I shot back, steadier than I felt, my glassblower's calm matching his energy. My ex had forged promises like this, all flames until he ghosted me in 2019, leaving me to fire alone in Verona's cracked kilns, my heart fragile. Matteo's touch was different, bold yet careful, his eyes searching mine, like he saw the art beyond my pipe. The music slowed, a chill classical track, and Matteo stepped closer, his chest grazing mine, his cologne, sea salt, amber, intoxicating. "Why are you cold?" he asked, voice piercing, like he knew my cracks. My throat tightened. Verona's, pain surging, but Venedik's neon urged me to speak. "I don't trust dealers," I confessed, voice raw, the crowd fading, just us in the neon glow. Matteo's grin softened, his eyes dimming. Less spark, more human, his hand still on my arm, warm, grounding. "I'm not that guy," he said, voice firm, his Venedik lilt tinged with hurt. "Just a dude who saw your pieces and couldn't scroll away." My heart twisted, his words hitting like a perfect anneal, raw, clear, shaking Verona's grip. I thought of my ex's flames, but Matteo's gaze was open, unguarded. The neon pulsed, Murano's energy wrapping us, and I wanted to believe him. But fear held me, my apron slipping, my pulse a shaky breath. We moved to my booth, neon, orange, purple, glinting off my torch, classical a soft hum, the festival's buzz fading. Matteo leaned in, voice quieter, less flirty, more real. "I'm a dealer," he said. "Chase sales, live for the trade. But your glass, they're real, Luca, like you." His words felt sincere, but a festival goer nearby scoffed, calling Matteo Murano's profit chaser, always selling, never staying. My stomach sank, Verona's scars screaming, "Shatter." "That true?" I asked, voice sharp, my torch still, eyes locked on his. Matteo's eyes widened, hurt flashing, but he didn't dodge. "I sell," he said, voice low, "but I don't ghost." The neon flared, Murano's pulse mocking my doubt, urging me to hear him. I stood, ready to pack my tools, the neon blazing, my boots soft on the canal. Murano's rhythm syncing with my fear. Matteo grabbed my wrist, gentle, his eyes pleading, raw, unguarded. "Don't shatter the peace," he said, voice cracking, cutting through the festival's hum. "I'm not your ex, Luca." My heart raced, his touch electric, Venedik's, tide urging me to stay, but Verona's voice hissed, "He'll ghost." "Prove it," I challenged, voice trembling, a desperate hope. Matteo's grip steadied, his eyes burning with resolve, the neon glowing brighter, Murano daring us to melt. I stepped away, the city's hum blending with the neon buzz, Matteo following, his jacket catching the orange and purple lights, his eyes fixed on me. The night air was humid, a light breeze off the lagoon, Murano's energy alive, pulsing like a heartbeat. I knew this wasn't just a cracked vase or a saved stumble. This was us, two sparks lighting Venedik's neon canal, fighting to stick the melt, caught in a piece the city was shaping. One I wasn't sure I could trust, but couldn't break. A light breeze swept through Murano, Venedik's neon, orange, signs, purple palazzo streaks, shimmering in the festival's afterglow as I walked away in June 2022, my tools heavy, my heart heavier. Matteo's profit chaser label echoed, too close to my ex's sales, Verona's scars screaming, "Bail!" "Luca, wait!" Matteo called, chasing me, his hair tousled, his hazel eyes wild, desperate. "What's wrong?" he asked, voice slicing through the breeze. I spun, anger flaring, apron off. "You're just a chaser," I snapped, voice raw, shaking. "I'm not your next sale, Matteo." The neon flickered, the lagoon humming, Venedik's pulse mocking my fear, urging me to listen. Matteo's face fell, his grin gone, his eyes raw, wounded, breeze ruffling his hair like tears. "You believe that?" he said, voice low, cracked, heavy with pain. "I'm not your ex, Luca." He stepped closer, neon painting his face orange and purple, his hands open, vulnerable. "I chase deals, yeah, I sell art, but I've been burned. Guys who wanted my profits, not me, left me trading alone in 2019. My chest tightened, his story mirroring mine. Verona's betrayal fading under his truth, but doubt lingered. Could I trust him, or was Venedik's neon just another glaze? The breeze softened, his eyes pleading, raw, urging me to stay. Matteo grabbed my hand, his fingers, warm despite the breeze, his grip soft, his eyes blazing with resolve. "You're different," he said, voice steady, a vow carved in Venedik's glow. "Your glass, your heart. I saw you before I knew you." My breath hitched, his words hitting like a flawless blow, raw, clear, cracking my walls. I thought, of my pieces my soul poured into Venedik's pulse, the festival's cheers lifting me. "Why me?" I whispered, voice soft, breeze slowing, neon softening. "Because you're my flame," he said, his hand steadying mine, grounding me. "I'm done with solos, Luca. I want the peace." The breeze faded, Venedik's neon puddles glowing like stars, the lagoon's hum a promise overhead, Murano's skyline faint in the glow. I wanted to trust Matteo, to shed Verona's pain, but trust was a piece I'd dropped before. His hand anchored me, his gaze unwavering, and I felt it. A shift, a heat, Venedik's energy urging me to shape. "One more blow," I said, voice low, a test, a hope, apron loose. Matteo's grin returned, soft, real, and he nodded, pulling me back toward the festival, the neon brighter, my fears dissolving like molten glass in Venedik's tide. We stepped back into the neon flame fest, neon, orange, purple, embracing us, electronic beats pulsing like a heartbeat, the crowd alive again. Matteo's hand stayed in mine, his touch grounding me in the chaos, and I knew this wasn't just a spill. This was us, two scarred souls lighting Venedik's neon canal, daring to melt, to trust, to land, even if it scared us both, Murano's tide fueling our fight. The festival wasn't just a canal, it was a vibe. Glass stalls lined the water, their neon signs buzzing, selling beads and sacchetti, the air thick with heat and lagoon salt. Glass blowers shaped nearby, their torches humming, orange and purple lights flashing across their pieces. A group of teens filmed TikToks by a glowing flame sign, their laughter blending with the classical bass line. My friend, Enzo, a grinder, with a fade and a rainbow wristband, caught my eye, smirking as he adjusted a wheel. "Luca, you're off heat," he teased, nodding at Matteo. "He's got you blowing." I rolled my eyes, but my grin betrayed me. Matteo's hand still in mine, grounding me. Matteo's dealer booth was a vision, pieces shimmering under lights, LED strips casting orange and purple hues, his TikTok clips trending with art tours, a young glassblower, Sophia, maybe 20, with braids and neon beads, ran up, fist-bumping Matteo. "You selling him?" she asked, pointing at me, her giggle bright. Matteo laughed, nudging her shoulder. "Maybe he's glazing me," he said, his eyes flicking to mine. Soft, real. My heart skipped, Verona's shadows fading, Venedik's neon urging me to stay. I adjusted my blowpipe, testing a gather, the crowd cheering as Matteo pitched, our rhythm syncing. Back at my booth, the neon flared, purple strobes cutting through the orange haze, the crowd denser now, hyped over my blown vase. Matteo stood, close, flipping his catalogue, his jacket catching the glow, his eyes never leaving mine. I thought of Verona, the nights I'd fired in silence, my ex's flames fading my moulds. Matteo was different, his presence steady, his laugh a spark that lifted me. "You're killing it," he whispered, leaning in, his breath warm, sparking, a shiver. I grinned, my torch humming under my hands, Venedik's tide urging me to dive deeper. The festival wasn't just glass, it was stories. A marine maker nearby twisted rods, his flame humming, orange and purple lights glinting off his beads. A drag queen in a neon cloak hyped the crowd, her voice booming, "Murano, let's melt!" My cousin, Marco, who'd come from Verona, watched from the crowd, his rainbow cap glinting, his nod a quiet cheer. He'd seen me crash after 2019, knew how hard I'd fought to find my kiln in Venedik. Matteo caught his eye, waving, and Marco mouthed, "He's dope," making me laugh mid-blow, my heart lighter than it had been in years. Matteo's past wasn't clean either. Over spritz at his booth, he shared fragments, 2019, a gallery that promised deals but ghosted him, leaving him selling in Venedik's backwaters, his dreams on pause. "I thought I'd lost my spark," he said, voice low, his fingers tracing the rim of his glass. "Then I saw your pieces, Luca, your soul, in that glass." My chest tightened, his honesty a heat that landed, Verona's pain fading further. I shared my own scars, my ex's ghosting, the nights I'd fired alone, doubting I'd ever trust again. Matteo listened, his eyes steady, his hand finding mine, a silent vow in the neon glow. The festival pulsed on, the crowd growing wilder. As the night deepened, neon signs brighter against the Venedik skyline. A group of glassblowers spun LED pipes, their moves syncing with the electronic beat, while a stall chef tossed cicchetti to cheering fans. Enzo joined us, his wheel under his arm, joking, "You two are a piece, Luca." Sophia, Matteo's glassblower friend, visited, showing off a neon bead she'd crafted, her beads flashing as she grinned. The canal where we worked buzzed with creators, their clips now including us, two figures, hands linked, neon lines glowing. Murano wasn't just a place. It was our kiln, our melt, our love, etched in every blow we landed. We wandered to Murano's streets, the festival's hum fading, the neon signs reflecting in canals, the lagoon's hum, a steady pulse. Matteo's hand stayed in mine, his jacket brushing my arm, his eyes soft, real. "You're not just a glassblower," he said, voice low, cutting through the breeze. "You're a flame, Luca, one I can't stop lighting." My heart surged, Verona's scars silent, Venedik's tide urging me to believe. I thought of my ex's fires, but Matteo's words were different, raw, unguarded, a glow I wanted to shape. "You're not bad yourself," I said, grinning, apron loose, my pulse syncing with his. The rooftop studio above the festival glowed under Venedik's skyline, orange neon towers flashing flame, purple-lit palazzos swaying, the lagoon shimmering below like a liquid melt. Matteo and I sat close, my torch parked, his catalogue tucked away, our spritzers sweating on the table. His hazel eyes locked on mine, no longer flashing, just open, raw, vulnerable, my pulse racing. "You're still here," he said, voice soft, carrying hope, his hair catching neon. I nodded, Verona's scars quiet, Venedik's tide urging me to dive. Verona had taught me to hide, to fire in dim sheds, alone, my ex's flames in 2019 a scar I carried to Venedik. Matteo's hand found mine, his fingers tracing my knuckles, his touch a spark lighting the studio. Warm, electric. "I've messed up," he admitted, voice raw, cutting through the neon haze. "Chased galleries, Trusted the wrong guys in 2019. But with you, Luca, your glass, your heart, I'm real. My breath caught, his words vivid, like a perfect blow, his eyes burning hazel, Venedik's skyline pulsing, his truth crashing over me. Matteo stood, his silhouette framed by neon, his voice rising raw, a confession under Venedik's stars. I'm falling for you, he said. Eyes locked on mine, neon exploding, orange, purple, red. The studio trembling with his truth. The festival pulsed below, oblivious, but my world froze. His words a tide washing Verona's fear, leaving only us. I thought of my ex's cuts, but Matteo was different. His gaze, his voice, his heart real, and I was falling too. I'm scared, I whispered, apron off, voice shaky, but Matteo's hands cupped my face, his thumbs brushing my cheeks, warm, steadying. I stood, my tools forgotten, our eyes locked, tension electric, air thick with Venedik's tide. Me, too, he murmured, voice soft. But I want this, Luca, you, me, this city, all of it. The neon sang, orange and purple swirling, and we kissed, deep, wild. The lagoon humming below, skyline bursting, vivid, alive. The crowd cheered downstairs, unaware, but our kiss was ours, sealing a melt eternal in Murano's fire, neon wrapping us in a vow we'd fight for, Venedik's pulse fueling us. The kiss broke, foreheads touching, neon softening, Venedik's, warmth a blanket. My torch lay forgotten, Matteo's catalogue glinting, his pieces of neon art glowing. Us, our montage, inked in oranges and purples. We're melting this, he said, voice soft, grin bright, eyes promising more. I nodded, heart full. Verona's scars fading under Venedik's magic, a promise we could keep. This wasn't just a kiss, it was us, two sparks in Murano's chaos, burning bright, ready to light love, one neon night at a time. Now, over 3 years later, in August 2025, I stand at Glass Vibe, blowing a new piece, smiling at the memory. Matteo's sails light up our shared studio, his pieces styling Venedik's art scene, our lover melt that's kept glowing. My name is Luca, and this is our story. A gay love sparked in Venedik's neon, fighting to shine. Will we outshine Murano's glow, or stay lost in its vibrant kiln? Dawn broke over Murano that June 2022 morning. Venedik's skyline fading as purple, sunrise spilled across the lagoon, neon signs dimming as the city stirred. Matteo and I walked the canals, hands linked, my tools slung over my shoulder, his catalogue tucked under his arm. Murano had relit my soul, its neon heart sparking a love I never thought I'd find. Matteo's hazel eyes met mine, his jacket loose, smile soft, a vow brighter than the neon that brought us together. We're landing this, he said, voice steady, hands squeezing mine. Venedik's dawn sealing our promise. Warm, real. Verona was a shadow now, my ex's flames in 2019 a faint crack, replaced by Matteo's warmth, his bold deals, his heart, that saw my soul through the neon haze. We'd built a life here, my pieces ruling Murano's galleries, Matteo's sales trending online. Our love a melt Venedik shaped. I thought of that night, the splashed glass, the saved stumble, the rooftop, kiss that changed everything, neon painting us in oranges and purples. You're my perfect flame, I said, grinning, apron loose, voice steady, no longer afraid. Matteo laughed, pulling me close, lips brushing my forehead, lagoon humming a chorus of hope, alive, endless. I pictured us, my mind shaping pieces. Matteo's deals, Venedik's skyline, a vivid montage of our love, bold and bright. Matteo watched, arm around me, his touch grounding me. The canals alive with glass blowers, dealers, city's rhythm syncing with ours. We'd face challenges, Venedik's floods, the world's cracks, our fears. But we were enough, our melt, stronger than any shatter. Let's make it a banger, Matteo said, grin bright, eyes promising forever, or as close as Murano could give. Venedik's pulse beat in us, a love story inked in neon and dawn, shining on. The canals weren't just a path, it was a kiln. A glass blower shaped nearby, his torch humming, orange and purple lights flashing across his piece. A gondolier glided past, his LED oar glowing, shouting, "Keep the vibe, artists!" Marco, my cousin, joined us, his camera snapping candids, his smile wide. "You're melting, Luca," he said, his voice soft, knowing the weight of my Verona days. Matteo grinned, tossing him a bead, and Marco laughed, the moment light, real, Venedik's dawn wrapping us in hope. Our studio became our hub, torches lining the counters, Matteo's laptops glowing with sales, our neon sign buzzing, glass vibe. Enzo dropped by, his wheel tapping a beat, joking, "You two are a piece, Luca." Sophia, Matteo's glassblower friend, visited, showing off a neon bead she'd crafted, her beads flashing as she grinned. The canal where we worked buzzed with creators, their clips now including us. 2 figures, hands linked, neon lines glowing. Murano wasn't just a place. It was our kiln, our melt, our love, etched in every blow we landed. My heart glowed, our story vivid. 2 boys, 1 city, a love that fought and won against the odds, but a question lingered, soft as the dawn breeze. Could any love outlast the world's cools? Or was this melt enough? I looked at Matteo, hand in mine, a rainbow wristband matching mine, glinting in the sunrise, and knew we'd try, 1 neon, night at a time. Murano had given us a flame, and we'd shaped our story, bold, gay, vibrant, for Venedik's skyline to display. This wasn't just a love. This was our piece, our spark, our forever, alive in Venedik's neon shine. If this story set your heart lighting, smash like, drop a comment with your Venedik flame vibe, and subscribe for more gay love stories. Comment, what's your neon glow? Help us hit 1,000 subscribers. Your vibe keeps these melts alive. Chase your neon and tell us, will Luca and Matteo's love outshine Murano's glow, or is their peace enough? My name is Luca, and this is our story. A gay love born in Venedik's chaos, burning bright forever, or as long as Murano's neon glows. We walked into Murano's crowd that morning, hand in hand, my tools packed, Venedik's skyline a promise above. The neon signs flickered back on, our kiln igniting, our love a gay story vivid, melting forever in Venedik's tide. This was our montage, a love inked in Murano's neon heart, 1 sunrise at a time, for the world to see.